I never thought those words would come from my stepdaughter. For 3 years, I had tried to build a relationship with 14-year-old Lily, navigating the complex waters of blended families. My wife Amanda and I had created what seemed like a stable home, overcoming initial resistance and finding our rhythm. But tonight, what started as a simple disagreement erupted into something devastating when Lily screamed those 5 words at me, her face contorted with rage. What hurt even more was Amanda joining in instead of mediating. I stood there feeling my world collapse. Let me know where you are watching from, and hit that like and subscribe button if you have ever felt betrayed by the very people you thought were your family. I met Amanda at the marketing firm where we both worked 4 years ago. I still remember that day with perfect clarity. She walked into the conference room for our department meeting, her dark hair pulled back in a professional bun, but with a few rebellious strands framing her face. Our eyes met across the table, and something just clicked. Not love at first sight exactly, but definitely interest. After the meeting, I found an excuse to talk with her about one of the projects mentioned, and we ended up chatting by the coffee machine for 20 minutes. When I asked her to dinner that Friday, she hesitated before accepting. During our date, she explained why. Amanda was a single mom with an 11-year-old daughter, Lily. Her husband had left them when Lily was just 5, rarely making contact, and completely shirking his financial responsibilities. She wanted to be upfront about her situation because, as she put it, many men disappeared when they realized dating her meant becoming part of a package deal. I appreciated her honesty. I had always wanted a family, and while dating a woman with a child would certainly have its challenges, it did not scare me away. What I did not anticipate was just how difficult winning over Lily would be. Our first meeting was awkward to say the least. Lily sat across from me at a local pizza place, arms crossed, answering my questions with minimal syllables and avoiding eye contact. Amanda gave me an apologetic look, but I understood. This child had been abandoned by her father, and now some stranger was trying to enter her life. Over the following months, I made it my mission to connect with Lily without pushing too hard. I learned that she loved astronomy, so I bought a beginner telescope for stargazing nights in the backyard. When she mentioned having trouble with fractions in math class, I spent hours creating a game to help her understand the concept. I attended her school concert sitting proudly in the audience, as she played clarinet even when the performance was far from perfect. The first real breakthrough came 6 months into my relationship with Amanda. Lily had a science project due, creating a model of the solar system. She had procrastinated, and the night before it was due, she was in tears, convinced she would fail. Amanda had an important presentation the next morning and needed to prepare. I stepped in, and Lily and I stayed up until midnight painting styrofoam balls, calculating proportionate distances, and stringing the planets together. When we finally finished, Lily looked at our handiwork, then at me, and smiled. Not just any smile, but a genuine one that reached her eyes. She said, "Thank you, Casey," and that simple sentence felt like winning the lottery. By the time I proposed to Amanda a year after we started dating, Lily had warmed considerably. She no longer called me that guy, but used my name. On our wedding day, she even agreed to be a junior bridesmaid. The photo of the 3 of us from that day still sits on our mantle. Amanda, in her elegant cream, dressed me in my navy suit, and Lily in her lavender dress, all smiling broadly at the camera. We looked like a family. I truly believed we were becoming one. The months following our wedding were some of the happiest of my life. We moved into a new house with a bedroom for each of us, plus a spare that Amanda and I talked about maybe filling with another child someday. On weekends, we went hiking, visited museums, or simply lounged around watching movies. I taught Lily how to ride a bike, something her mother had never learned to do herself. I felt like I belonged, like I had finally found my place in the world. One evening, as we sat on the porch swing watching the sunset, Lily tentatively rested her head against my shoulder. Amanda, sitting across from us, caught my eye and smiled, her expression full of gratitude and love. I remember thinking, this is it. This is everything I have ever wanted. As we approached our 2nd wedding anniversary, I started noticing subtle shifts in our family dynamic. Lily was 12 now, entering that complicated phase where childhood and adolescence collide. Suddenly, the girl who had eagerly showed me her science projects, began shutting her bedroom door, emerging only for meals, and with an attitude that fluctuated between sullen and snippy. I tried not to take it personally. I had read enough about adolescent development to understand this was normal. But what caught me off guard was how differently Amanda and I approached these changes. When Lily missed her curfew for the first time, returning 30 minutes late from a study session at a friend's house, I suggested grounding her for the weekend. Amanda thought I was being too harsh. She does not need punishment, she needs understanding. Amanda argued after Lily had gone to bed. She is going through a lot right now. But she needs to learn about responsibility and consequences, I countered. That comment sparked our first real argument as a married couple. Amanda accused me of not understanding what it was like to parent a preteen girl. I felt dismissed, like my opinion did not matter, because I was not Lily's biological father. We went to bed without resolving anything. And the next morning, Amanda informed Lily there would be no consequences this time, but she needed to call if she was going to be late in the future. I said nothing, but the message was clear. When it came to parenting decisions, my input was secondary. Around this time, I received a promotion at work. The new position came with more responsibility, a significant pay raise, and unfortunately longer hours. I was thrilled about the opportunity, but concerned about the impact on our family time. Amanda initially supported my decision, saying the extra money would help us save for Lily's future college expenses. But as the weeks passed, and I missed a few family dinners and one of Lily's school performances due to work commitments, tension began building. Lily made cutting comments about me being too busy for family stuff, and Amanda did not correct her. Instead, she often sighed and said things like, "I guess this is our new normal." I tried explaining that the demanding schedule was temporary while I got up to speed in my new role, but my explanations fell on increasingly deaf ears. The distance between us grew inch by inch, day by day. Then came the bombshell. 6 months after my promotion, Amanda received a Facebook message from Jack, her ex-husband, and Lily's biological father. After years of minimal contact, he suddenly wanted to reconnect with his daughter. He had remarried, gotten sober, and wanted to make amends for his absence. I had serious reservations. Where had he been for the past 7 years? Why now? And most importantly, how would his reappearance affect Lily, who had finally seemed to accept me as a parental figure in her life? Amanda, however, believed Lily had the right to know her father. "He is part of who she is, Casey," she said. "I cannot keep them apart just because it might be uncomfortable for us." But this was really about me. Amanda did not have to worry about being replaced. I was the one who had spent years building a relationship with Lily, the one who might be pushed aside for the novelty of a biological father who could swoop in without having done any of the hard work. I reluctantly agreed that Lily should be allowed to communicate with Jack, but I suggested taking things slowly, perhaps starting with emails or phone calls before any in-person meetings. Amanda agreed, but I could tell she thought I was being overly cautious. A few weeks later, I came home early from work, hoping to surprise Amanda with dinner reservations for our date night. As I approached our bedroom to change clothes, I overheard Amanda and Lily talking. I paused when I heard my name. "Casey tries, but he just does not get me the way Dad does," Lily was saying. "Dad said he will take me to the astronomy center next time I visit." "Dad." Jack was already Dad while I remained Casey. Amanda's response cut deeper. "Jack has his faults, but you are right that there are some things only a biological parent can understand. Casey loves you, though, in his own way. In his own way. As if my love was somehow less legitimate, less real." I backed away from the door, not wanting to hear more. That night at dinner, I could barely taste the food, my mind replaying those words over and over again. I was not ready to give up on our family. Despite the growing tension, I redoubled my efforts to strengthen our bonds. I planned a surprise weekend getaway to a lakeside cabin where we could disconnect from technology and reconnect with each other. I bought Lily an expensive telescope for her birthday, remembering how astronomy had first given us common ground. I even started coming home earlier from work, delegating more tasks to my team to prioritize family time. Initially, these efforts seemed to help. The weekend at the lake gave us a few precious moments of normalcy. Sitting around a campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories, I could almost believe we were back on track. Lily seemed more relaxed away from school, and her friends laughing at my terrible ghost stories, and even sharing some of her own. But back home, reality quickly reasserted itself. Lily began spending more time in her room, frequently texting on her phone. When I asked Amanda about it, she admitted Lily was communicating with Jack daily. Their relationship was developing rapidly, and Jack had already started sending Lily gifts, including a silver necklace with a star pendant that she now wore constantly. I noticed Lily would take off her necklace or tuck it inside her shirt whenever I was around, as if she did not want me to see this connection to her biological father. It hurt, but I tried to understand. This was complicated for all of us. The real problems began when Jack started making promises about future visits and trips. Lily would excitedly announce at dinner that Dad promised to take her to Disney World, or Dad said she could spend part of summer break with him and his new wife. Each announcement felt like a small knife in my chest, especially when Amanda would smile encouragingly. Our third wedding anniversary fell on a Wednesday. I had made reservations months in advance at the restaurant where we had our first date. I arranged for Lily to stay with Amanda's sister for the evening so we could have a romantic night together. But 2 days before, Lily announced she had been selected to play a solo at her school band concert, which happened to be scheduled for the same night. I suggested we could celebrate our anniversary the following weekend, making Amanda smile appreciatively. But as we sat in the school auditorium waiting for Lily's turn to play, I could not shake the nagging feeling that the timing of this concert was too convenient. When I checked the school calendar later, I discovered the concert had been on the schedule for months. Amanda had known about it when I mentioned our anniversary plans, but had said nothing. Was I becoming paranoid? Or was I being deliberately pushed to the periphery of our family life? The cracks in our relationship deepened when I found out Amanda had taken a day off work to drive Lily to meet Jack for lunch in a neighboring town. They had not told me about this meeting beforehand, and I only discovered it when I found the receipt for a gas station in that town in our car. When confronted, Amanda became defensive. "We did not tell you because we knew you would make a big deal out of it," she said. "It was just lunch, Casey. He is her father. He has rights." Rights. That word echoed in my head. What about my rights? I had been there for Lily for 3 years. I had helped with homework, attended parent-teacher conferences, held her when she cried over middle school drama. Did that count for nothing? Because we did not share DNA. The hurt transformed into anger, then settled into a deep, aching disappointment. That night I slept on the couch, unable to lie next to Amanda, with this wall of secrets between us. It would not be the last night I spent there. Our arguments increased in frequency and intensity. What had once been occasional disagreements about parenting styles evolved into fundamental questions about respect and family. Each time Lily would side with her mother, sometimes jumping into adult conversations with surprisingly cutting remarks about how I was trying to control everything or how I just did not understand. After one particularly heated exchange, Lily slammed her bedroom door and refused to come out for dinner. Amanda glared at me as if it was entirely my fault. "I am starting to wonder if this is working," she said quietly. It was the first time either of us had voiced the possibility that our marriage might be failing. I should have recognized it as the warning sign it was. Instead, I convinced myself we were just going through a rough patch. All families had them. We would find our way back to each other. I was wrong. It happened on a Thursday. I remember because I had left work early, turning down an important client meeting to be home for dinner. I had spent my lunch break picking up ingredients for Amanda's favorite pasta dish, planning to cook for the family as a peace offering after our recent tensions. When I pulled into our driveway, I noticed Lily had her backpack and a small suitcase by the front door. Amanda was helping her organize some items in a tote bag. Neither of them looked pleased to see me arrive early. "What is going on?" I asked, setting down the grocery bags. Amanda hesitated before answering. "Jack is in town for a business trip. He invited Lily to have dinner with him at his hotel and meet his new wife." I tried to keep my voice level. "I thought we agreed Lily would meet Rebecca during her birthday weekend next month. When did these plans change?" "Jack called yesterday." Lily interjected, her tone challenging. His schedule changed, and this was the only time that worked. Mom already said it was okay. I looked at Amanda, feeling betrayed that such a significant decision had been made without even consulting me. "We need to talk about this," I said to her, trying to keep the conversation between adults. "There's nothing to talk about," Lily snapped. "He is my real dad, and I want to see him." The word real hit me like a physical blow. 3 years of bedtime stories, school projects, basketball games in the driveway. 3 years of trying to be a father to this girl, and I was still not real to her. I turned to Amanda, expecting her to at least acknowledge that this situation deserved a family discussion. Instead, she put her arm around Lily's shoulders. "We do not need Casey permission for you to see your father, honey." I felt something inside me crack. Not just hurt now, but genuine anger. Do I have any say at all in this family? Or am I just the guy who pays the bills and keeps his mouth shut? Amanda's face hardened. "You always do this. You always try to control everything. This is exactly why I did not tell you about the dinner earlier." The argument escalated quickly. Words flew between us like bullets, striking vital places, causing wounds that would not easily heal. I brought up her secretive behavior. She countered with accusations of my rigidity. We were both saying things we might normally have kept inside, releasing months of built-up resentment. Lily, rather than retreating to her room, as she usually did during our arguments, stayed right in the middle of it. Each time I made a point, she would jump in with a comment supporting her mother. It felt like I was fighting two people at once, both determined to prove me wrong, to paint me as the villain. I tried to explain how hurtful it was to be excluded from family decisions, how I only wanted to be treated with basic respect. "I am part of this family too," I said, my voice breaking slightly. At least I thought I was. Lily rolled her eyes dramatically. "You are so selfish. You just cannot stand that I want to spend time with my actual father instead of you." "Lily, that is not fair," I started. She cut me off with a scream that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside her, years of complicated emotions erupting at once. "Why do not? You just disappear. Nobody asked you to try to be my dad." I stood frozen, the words hitting me with physical force. But the worst was yet to come. Instead of correcting her daughter, instead of defending our marriage or the family we had tried to build, Amanda nodded. "We would be better off without you," she said, her voice cold. "You have never really been part of this family." In that moment, everything stopped. The argument, my thoughts, even my breath for a few seconds. I looked at these two people, the ones I had centered my life around for the past 3 years, and saw strangers. Or rather, I saw that I was the stranger to them. I did not say another word, not one. I simply turned and walked upstairs to our bedroom. Behind me, I could hear them whispering, probably wondering what I was doing. But neither followed me. With mechanical movements, I pulled out my suitcase from the closet and began packing. Clothes, toiletries, important documents. I was not taking everything, just what I would need for a while. My hands were steady, though my mind was in chaos. As I packed, memories flooded through me. My own childhood with an abusive stepfather who made me feel unwelcome in my own home. The promise I had made to myself as a scared 10-year-old hiding in my closet from another drunken tirade that I would never stay where I was not wanted or respected. I had broken that promise to myself, trying so hard to make this family work that I had accepted being treated as an outsider. I took off my wedding ring and placed it on the dresser. Beside it, I left a note. Not a long emotional letter, just a few lines explaining that I needed space and time to think. I wrote that I would be in touch about practical matters, but for now, I needed to be somewhere else. When I came back downstairs with my suitcase, Amanda and Lily were in the kitchen. They looked up, surprise evident on both faces as they registered what was happening. "What are you doing?" Amanda asked, her voice suddenly uncertain. I looked at her directly, then at Lily. I had rehearsed some dignified parting words in my head while packing, but standing there I found I had nothing left to say. 3 years of trying to be a husband and father, of loving them both, and this was where it had led. To being told I should disappear. to being told they would be better off without me. So I gave them what they wanted. Without a word, I walked out the door, put my suitcase in the trunk of my car, and drove away. I did not look back at the house, did not check if they had come out to watch me leave. It did not matter anymore. I checked into a hotel 20 miles away, one where we had never stayed as a family. I turned off my phone and sat on the edge of the bed in the anonymous room, finally allowing myself to feel the full weight of what had just happened. For the first time since my mother's funeral 10 years earlier, I cried. Not quiet tears, but deep, wrenching sobs that left me gasping. I cried for the family I thought we were building, for the love I had given so freely, only to have it thrown back in my face, and for the naive man who had believed that trying hard enough could overcome any obstacle. That night, I barely slept. I stared at the ceiling, replaying our last conversation, wondering what I could have done differently, not just in that moment, but throughout our relationship. Had I been controlling, as Amanda claimed? Had I pushed too hard to be a father to a girl who already had one, even if he had been absent for years? By morning, exhaustion had given way to a strange clarity. I called my friend Mike, who lived 3 states away. We had been college roommates, but had drifted apart when I married Amanda. He listened without judgment. As I explained what had happened, then immediately offered his guest room for as long as I needed it. I wrote a brief email to my boss requesting emergency personal leave. Then I got in my car and started driving, putting miles between myself and the shattered remains of the life I had tried to build. Mike's apartment became my refuge for the next week. He gave me space when I needed it, company when I did not want to be alone with my thoughts, and most importantly, perspective. "You know what your problem is," he said one night, as we sat on his balcony looking out at the city lights. "You love so completely that you forget to make sure you are being loved the same way in return." His words struck me as profoundly true. I had been so focused on proving myself worthy of Amanda and Lily love that I had accepted crumbs of affection and respect. I had made myself smaller, less demanding, willing to compromise on things that should have been non-negotiable, like being included in family decisions. Never again, I promised myself. Whatever happened next, I would not forget my own worth. After a week of reflection, I finally turned my phone back on. The screen immediately lit up with notifications. 13 missed calls from Amanda, 5 from Lily, which surprised me. Dozens of text messages, ranging from angry demands to know where I was, to increasingly worried inquiries about my safety. And voicemails. So many voicemails. I started with the oldest, from the night I left. Amanda's voice was tight with anger. "I cannot believe you just walked out like that. So mature, Casey. Call me back." The next few followed a similar pattern, but by the 4th day, her tone had changed. "We need to talk about this, like adults," she said in one message. "I know things got out of hand, but running away does not solve anything." By the 6th day, there was unmistakable fear in her voice. "Casey, please just let me know you are okay. I am really worried. This is not like you." The final message, left just hours before I turned my phone back on, broke me. "Casey, I am so sorry. We both are. What we said was unforgivable. I do not expect you to come back, but please call me. Please." Then came Lily messages. The first few were clearly made under duress, probably at Amanda's insistence, but the most recent one stopped me cold. Her voice was thick with tears. "Casey, I did not mean what I said. I was just so angry and confused, and Dad. Jack, he said some stuff about you, trying to take his place, and I got all mixed up inside. Please come home. It is not the same without you." I sat on Mike's couch, phone in hand, utterly conflicted. Part of me wanted to delete every message without responding, to give them the same silence they had given my feelings for months. Another part, the part that still loved them despite everything, wanted to call immediately to ease their worry and pain, but I knew neither extreme was the right answer. I needed to respond, but on my terms, with boundaries firmly in place. I texted Amanda first, keeping it simple. "I am safe. I am staying with a friend. I need time to think." Her response was immediate. "Can we talk, please, after?" Considering for a moment, I called her. Her voice when she answered was small. Nothing like the confident woman I knew. Casey, thank God. I have been so worried. I am okay, I said, keeping my tone neutral. What followed was a long, difficult conversation. Amanda admitted she had been unfair, that she had allowed Jack's reappearance to unbalance our family dynamics. He wanted to get back together, she confessed. He has been suggesting it for months, saying we could be a real family again. And what did you say to that? I asked, my heart pounding. I told him no, she said quietly. I realized after you left that I had been entertaining a fantasy about the past, forgetting all the reasons we divorced in the first place. He was never the man you are, Casey. Never. I wanted to believe her, but words seemed hollow after everything that had happened. I need to see you in person, I said finally. Not at the house. Somewhere neutral. We arranged to meet at a coffee shop, halfway between Mike's apartment and our home. I arrived early, choosing a table in the corner, where we could talk privately. When Amanda walked in, I was struck by how tired she looked, with dark circles under her eyes and her hair pulled back messily. Our conversation was stilted at first, both of us careful with our words. Gradually, we began addressing the real issues. I told her how excluded I had felt, how disrespected. She acknowledged her mistakes, explaining that her own insecurities about Jack's return had led her to make poor decisions. I did not want to lose Lily to him, she said, tears in her eyes. I was so afraid she would prefer him, the fun weekend dad with no rules, that I started undermining your authority to make myself the good parent. It was selfish and wrong. As we talked, the door to the coffee shop opened, and to my surprise, Lily walked in. She spotted us immediately and approached hesitantly, clearly uncertain of her welcome. Mom said I could come, she said, looking directly at me. I wanted to say sorry in person. Amanda had not mentioned Lily would be joining us, but I nodded for her to sit down. She looked smaller somehow, her usual teenage bravado absent. Jack was saying all these things about how you were trying to take his place and how I should not let you tell me what to do, Lily said in a rush. And I listened because it made me feel special that he was finally paying attention to me. But then you left, and I realized he has never been there when it actually matters. You have. Her words were like a balm to my wounded heart, but I remained cautious. Words were easy. Actions would tell the true story. I cannot just come back and pretend nothing happened, I told them both. Things need to change if we are going to try again. What followed was a frank discussion about boundaries, respect, and communication. I made it clear that I needed to be treated as a full member of the family, not an outsider. Decisions affecting all of us needed to be made together. And most importantly, I would not tolerate being spoken to with the kind of disrespect that had characterized our last conversation. To my surprise, both Amanda and Lily agreed readily. We need family counseling, Amanda suggested. All three of us. It was a start. Not forgiveness yet, not a resolution, but a beginning. I did not move back home immediately. I stayed with Mike for another month, driving back for weekly counseling sessions and occasional family dinners that were awkward but increasingly hopeful. Our therapist helped us establish healthy communication patterns and understand the complex dynamics that had led to our breakdown. Lily, with the surprising insight of a teenager forced to grow up quickly, recognized how she had been manipulated by her biological father. She is a sensitive and intelligent young woman, our therapist told me privately. She is genuinely sorry for the pain she caused. Amanda and I had several private sessions as well, working through the trust issues that had developed. She admitted that Jack had initially tried to rekindle their relationship using Lily as leverage, but she had eventually seen through his manipulation. I am choosing our family, Casey, she told me one evening as we walked around a park after a therapy session. If you can find it in your heart to try again, I promise things will be different. When I finally decided to move back home, I did so with clear expectations and boundaries. I would not allow myself to be marginalized again, no matter how much I loved them. The day I returned was both tense and hopeful. I half expected things to immediately fall apart again, but instead I found Lily had prepared dinner, a slightly overcooked but earnest attempt at my favorite lasagna. I made it from scratch, she said proudly. Well, except for the pasta, and Mom helped with the sauce. But I did everything else. After dinner, Amanda handed me a small box. Inside was a key. "We converted the spare room into an office for you," she explained. "Everyone needs their own space in a home. That is yours, just for you." The gesture touched me deeply. It was a physical acknowledgement that I belonged, that I had a permanent place in our home and family. Later that evening, Lily approached me tentatively with a wrapped package. "I got this for you," she said. "It is kind of stupid, but inside was a photo album." She had collected pictures from the past 3 years, moments I had forgotten or never seen. There were shots of us stargazing with the telescope I had bought her, me teaching her to ride a bike, the 3 of us at various outings and holidays. On the last page was a recent photo of just Lily and me at one of our family therapy sessions, both of us, with serious expressions that suddenly broke into genuine smiles. Underneath, she had written, "Thank you for not really disappearing." I looked up to find her watching me anxiously. "I cannot promise I will always get it right," she said, sounding much older than her 14 years. "But I want to try. I want us to be a real family." This time, I knew she did not mean a biological one. She meant one built on choice, on choosing each other every day, despite the difficulties. 6 months later, our family has found a new balance. It has not been easy. There have been setbacks, arguments, moments when old patterns threaten to resurface. But each time we have managed to pull back from the brink, to remember the lessons learned from nearly losing each other. Lily still sees her biological father occasionally, but the visits are structured and limited. More importantly, she no longer looks to him as the idealized dad of her imagination. She sees him clearly now, with all his flaws and limitations. One day, about 4 months after I moved back home, she called me Dad for the first time. We were working on fixing her bike chain in the garage, a simple moment of everyday life. The words slipped out naturally, not forced or awkward. I pretended not to notice, but inside my heart soared. The greatest lesson I have learned through all of this is that sometimes you have to be willing to walk away to get the respect you deserve. Standing up for yourself does not mean you do not love others. In fact, it can be the most loving thing you do, both for yourself and for them. Family is not just about biological connections or legal ties. It is about choosing each other every day through the good times and the difficult ones. It is about creating a home where everyone feels valued, heard, and respected. When Lily graduated from 8th grade last month, she gave a short speech as class president. She thanked her mother for being her constant support, her biological father for giving her life, and me for teaching her the meaning of real fatherhood. There was not a dry eye in our row of the auditorium. That night, as we celebrated with dinner at her favorite restaurant, I looked around the table at my wife and stepdaughter and felt a profound sense of peace. We had nearly lost everything, but in that loss we had found a stronger foundation for our family. Sometimes I have come to believe you have to disappear temporarily to be truly seen, and each of us deserves to be seen, respected, and loved for exactly who we are. What painful experiences have helped reshape your family dynamics? Leave a comment below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories of family transformation. Share this with someone who might be struggling in a blended family situation. Remember, sometimes the hardest challenges lead to the most beautiful outcomes.